Hey, hello, and welcome to today's GFG problem. Today, hope you all are doing well. So let's say today's problem. So in today's problem, we'll be given a string. Let's say the string is x, y, y, z. Okay. So now any string will contain the lowercase characters only. Now what we want to do is we want to check if it is possible to remove either zero or one character, that is at most one character, okay, from the string, in order to check whether the frequency of each distinct character after doing this operation, if it is same. If it is same, then you have to return true, else you have to return false. So let's quickly see this. So what is the frequency of x? X is 1, y is 2, and z is 1, right? So now we have the frequencies. Now what we can do is we can check for this operation, right? Whether it is required, to remove the character. So for example, here, if we remove the character of y, okay, that is one character we have removed. Now we can check for the frequencies. So the frequencies are same after doing this operation, so we can return true. Else, yeah, in this case we can return true. Now let's consider this case, simple case xyz, right? So here the frequency is what? The frequency of all x, y, and z, it is one only, right? So there's no need to remove any character. Okay, any character. So in this case we can simply return true. Okay, simply return true. So now how to solve this problem? Okay, how to solve this problem? Now what we'll do? Now what? So the expected time complexity is O of n, right? That is O of, it is length of string, which is nothing but O of n only, we can say, and the expected space complexity is O of 1. Okay, so we have to solve this problem in O of 1. So now what we are going to do? How we are going to solve this problem? Okay, so we are going to take a frequency array. Okay, a frequency array. Now this frequency array, what is the size? The size is 26, right? Ideally. So it is, the space complexity is nothing but O of 26, but it is constant, right? It is constant, it's not changing. Okay, so we can say the space complexity, we are taking it is constant space and O of 1. Okay, now we have this frequency array. Now what we're going to do, for example, let's say we have this x, y, y, z, right? So we are going to iterate through each character, right? We are going to iterate through the string. Okay, now what we're going to do, so once we come across any character, so what we're going to do, we are going to find out its position in this frequency array. We're going to find out its position. So what we're going to do, x minus, we're going to do ASCII of a, ASCII of small a. So what does this mean? What is ASCII of x? ASCII of x is 120. Okay, and what is ASCII of a? It is 97. So we get position as 23. So we are going to store the frequency of x at position 23, right? Position 23. So we are going to increment the frequency of x. Now let's move ahead, right? We have come across y. Now what we're going to do, y. So what is the ASCII of y? The ASCII of y is 121 minus 97 again, right? Minus a, y minus a, right? Which gives us nothing but 24. So we are going to increment the frequency of y. Now let's go ahead. So the next character again is y. So we are going to do the same, this thing, right? And the frequency we are going to increment to 2. It is going to be 2. Now again z. So yeah. So in this case, what we are going to do? Again, increment the frequency of z. Okay. So here we have the final array with all the frequencies. Now what we're going to do in first step, right? We're going to check whether, before doing any this this removal of character, right? We're going to first check whether the frequencies of all the characters are same or not. Okay, so how we are going to do? So in this case, what we are going to do is, wherever we find non-zero frequency, so we found the first non-zero frequency here, right? So we're going to take a count variable, okay, and we are going to store this, right? We are going to store in this. Now we took this, right, the count variable, and what we'll do, so from the next location, wherever we found non-zero frequency, from the next location, we are going to check for another non-zero frequency, right? If it is not same, right? If it is not same with the previous frequency, we are going to return false here. Okay, this is going to be the step. We are going to return false here. Okay, in the first step. Now, okay, in the first step, had this been the case x, y, z, right? X, y, z, wherein the frequency would have been 1 of y. So this we would have written true in this first case, right? In that first case. So it is not the case. So let's move to step 2 now. Okay, let's move to step 2. Now what we're going to do is, we are going to iterate to the array again, and we are going to find the first non-zero frequency. So we found here again, right? So what we're going to do, we are going to decrement the frequency of this. We are going to decrement the frequency. For example, let's say we made the frequency as 0, right? And then again, we are going to check, like, after removing one character. So we are going to again check if the frequency array now contains all the same characters, right? All the same characters. So what we did in the step 1, right? So it is not the case. It is not the case, right? It is not the case. So simply, if after removing the character, right? If after making this reducing the frequency, right? Okay. So if we are going to check if it is the frequency of all the characters are same. If it is the case that after removing the character, if the frequency is same, then we are going to return true. Else, what we are going to do, we are going to restore this frequency again. That is, we are going to make the frequency as 1 again, right? We are going to restore this frequency, and we are going to move ahead again, right? So here we come across the next frequency. Now what we're going to do, we are going to reduce the frequency, that is, remove one character. Okay, after doing this, we are going to check whatever we did in the step 1. Whatever we did in the step 1, we are going to check now if the frequency of all the characters is same. Yes, it is same, right? It is same, 1, 1, and 1. So here we are going to return true. Okay, so this is the intuition behind solving this problem. Now, before going to the code, if you got the intuition, I would request you to subscribe to my channel. Okay, thank you so much. Now let's move ahead. So first, I'm going to show the Java code. It is almost going to the same the C++ code. Okay, so let's start. So we are going to take a frequency array, right, of length 26. Now we are going to iterate through the characters, right? And what we are going to do, as I said, right, we are going to return the ASCII character of A in order to find, right, in order to show the frequency, right? So this we did here, right? We are increment the frequency at that particular position. Okay. Now we have the frequency array. Now we are going to check without any removal of the characters. We are going to check if the frequencies are all same, right? So we are passing on, right? For example, return true. Now let's check if it is same, right? Boolean is same. Frequency, we have frequency array and size, for example, right? Now what we're going to do, so we are going to iterate through this, right? Z plus plus I we did, we're going to iterate, and then what we're going to do, we are, if we find this, right, frequency of I, or we're going to check for non-zero frequency. If we found here, what we're going to do, for example, we have this int count equal to 0, right? We're going to capture the first non-zero frequency, right? So whatever it is, frequency of I, we are going to store, right? And what we're going to do along with that, we're going to break through this for, yeah, this follow. Now again, we'll have this int I equal to 0 here, right? So we found our first non-zero frequency. Okay, we broke from that. We have in the first non-zero frequency in count variable. Now what we're going to do, we are going to check in the subsequent locations, right? J is less than n, that is size plus plus j, right? Plus plus j we have here. Okay, so okay, so now what we're going to do, we are going to, if for yeah, we are going to check if frequency of j is greater than 0. We are going to find out the non-zero frequency, right? And then if we found the non-zero frequency, so we are going to check if at any given point, if frequency of j is not equal to the count which we had captured, right? That means the frequencies are not same, we are going to return false. But if the frequencies are same, we are going to return true. Okay, we are going to return true here. Okay, so here the first step is done, right? The first step which I discussed, right? The first step is done. Now, if the frequencies are not same, now what we are going to do? We are going to go to the second step. So what it will be, int I equal to 0, I less than 26 plus plus I. And then what we're going to do? We are going to check for the first, again, non-frequency, non-zero frequency, right? Okay, if we found one, what we're going to do? We are going to reduce, as I said, right? We are going to reduce the frequency, as I said in this step, right? We had reduced, for example, let's take this example, y1, right? We had reduced the frequency here, 2 to 1. Okay, now what we're going to do, after reducing the frequency, we are going to check if the frequency is same, right? If the frequency is same after reducing the frequency of all the characters, right? So again, 26 will pass here. If it is the case, we'll return true, right? If it is not the case, for example, so we are going to restore the frequency again. Okay, so like we did here, right? We reduce the frequency of x, right, to 0. We made 0, and then we check whether the frequencies are same, right? We reduce the frequency, then we check if it is same. No, if it was not the same for this case, so we restored the frequency again, right? We restored the frequency again, and we moved ahead to the next position. That is this position, right? That is this position. Yeah. So I hope you've got now. If it is not the case, right? Let's return false. Okay, it is not possible. The frequencies are not same. Let's return false. So let's compile. So the C++ code is almost same. I'm not going to implement that. Okay. Only thing is the declaration of the array is going to be different. Okay. Here what they're saying. Okay. So to char array. Yeah. To char array. You want to do this. Okay. Let's submit it. Okay. All the test cases are executed. I hope you've got the solution. Please subscribe to my channel. Like the video. Have a happy, healthy, and a great day. Thank you so much.